Hey, it's Mo. I'm so glad I'm here. You know, I've been just a little busier than usual lately, so filming has become a little more challenging, but I do thank you for your patience. I know you may have been waiting for a while to hear from me. I'm doing fine. I'm very fortunate. And I've got a great day today. You know, I only film with natural light to keep things as real as I can. So I know you're just waiting for a review, so let's just talk about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Tarte Holiday. So that includes the Tartelette Give Gift Get set and the Maracuja Juicy Lip Trio, the Blush Authority Amazonian Clay Blush set, and the Warm Winter Wishes. I think they call it an eye set. Yes, they call it an eye set. Warm Winter Wishes eye set. So those are the four things from Tarte, all for Holiday 2020 that I'm gonna talk about today. None of these are first impressions. I've been using these for a few weeks, along with testing a lot of other holiday stuff. So this is a full review, and you know, generally this is the time of year when you're like, oh, do I want to pick up that set for myself? Or, oh, would that be a nice gift? So I'm just going to kind of give you the rundown. We'll do swatches. We'll talk about the formula. Does the formula compare to the regular Tarte formula? That kind of thing. So that's what we're doing. And I think let's just start with the Tartelette Give Gift Get set. This is how it comes packaged. 3 mini palettes, if you want to call it that. They each have 9 pans. The standard Tartelette palette is 12 pans. This is the Tartelette in Bloom palette, which was just on sale yesterday at Ulta, so I picked it up. I'd never had this one, actually. I had the original Tartelette, but I no longer have that. So this is a normal, normal sized eye palette from Tarte, typically 12 shades. Each has 1.5 grams per pan. I just wanted to point out before I unbox this that it says 27 new shadows, 18 new, 9 fan faves. I find that interesting. And when you take them out of the packaging, you've got Lil Bloom and Lil Toasted and Lil Juicy. Ooh, that one's really reflective. So these are the 3 that you get. It's $49 US. And I purchased mine from Ulta online. I know this set is also available at tartecosmetics.com, and it's also at Sephora. So there are a variety of places you could purchase this if it interests you. As I said, 27 shadows, and then 18 are new and 9 are fan faves. So that's an interesting idea since there is no corresponding palette to this Lil Juicy. My theory, based on my own brain, which may or may not have any accuracy, is that they probably intended to release a Juicy palette maybe in the spring or summer, and with everything that happened with COVID and close downs, they weren't able to do that, but they already kind of had this plan for holiday. Totally a guess on my part, but anyway, so that's my guess as to why there's no corresponding palette. So Tartelette Lil Bloom, I have a direct comparison to Tartelette in Bloom. Because I thought that'd be fair. If we compare them directly, it'd probably translate to the other ones as well. So here they are side by side. They only share 3 actual shades. It's the top 3 actually in this Lil Bloom palette. The original Tartelette in Bloom doesn't have a strong vanilla scent. This one does. By the way, they're both made in the USA. All of that stuff is the same. And I swatched all of these palettes, and I swatched the whole Tartelette in Bloom, basically to compare formula. And then I also did, and I'm going to put that here, I also did one eye with the Tartelette Lil Bloom and one with the Tartelette in Bloom, just to compare how they looked. And again, there's only 3 shades I can directly compare. So you can see that that look turned out, at least definitely to my eye, and in person it looked identical. So, but I will say that I don't think these formulas are the same. I know a lot of people really love the Tartelette formula. The mattes are really silky, really smooth. None of the shimmers from Tarte, at least in this line, are mind-blowing. They're just a very subtle, very pretty, I'd say, shimmer, and that's kind of a Tarte thing. You know, Tarte's generally pretty neutral, pretty laid back. And I would say, so the silkiness in the mattes here, I don't find in these palettes. In fact, a lot of these, I'm going to say the biggest culprit is the Tartelette Lil Juicy. Some of those shades really, when you swatch them, really feel dry and almost rough. to the touch, but I like the look that I got. So it's kind of one of those things. And when you break it down, right, $49 for these 3 palettes means $16 per palette, which really for Tarte is not a bad price. So let's just do some swatches because that's always nice. So here we go. There was definitely powder kick up on these when I used them. It was nothing highly out of the ordinary, nothing that really bothered me, but I know some people are really bothered by that. So they swatch pretty nicely, really. It's mainly the feel, like they feel just rough to the touch. Not all of them. This one is really dry right here. And the shimmers feel fine, but they're not like, what am I doing? But they're not, you know, like, oh, butter, cream, whatever people say. And that one's pretty dry. But a lot of pigment there. So there you go. So there's the swatches of Lil Bloom. As I said, my look turned out identically. I didn't have to blend any differently, that kind of thing. They swatch pretty well. They're not the same formula. Can I tell you precisely what that difference is? No, of course I can't. But if like you're buying it because you're like, oh, I love that formula is my favorite, that's something you might want to keep in mind. And then we'll do Lil Toasted. I don't have the original of this, but I will say of the 3 palettes in this set, this one for me was the easiest to work with. I felt like the mattes felt the best in here, and just the color payout. This of the 3, I think this is my favorite in terms of performance. And I always do live swatches because I want to keep things as accurate as I can. That's why I use natural light also. And you can see like how much I'm dipping into the pan and all that kind of jazz. Because if you choose to buy something and you get it home, I want you to know what it's actually going to look like, even though we're separated here by a camera. See, these swatch really nicely. And these don't, I shouldn't say across the board, but these just feel nicer to me. Why is that? I don't know. I mean, we know some colors are more difficult to formulate than others. I suspect it has something to do with that. But this still, yeah, this feels dry, those darker shades. But I mean, pow, again, really nice pigmentation. So that's a little toasted. And again, just 3 shades in there from the original Tartelette Toasted. And the one for which there is no corresponding palette, I'm gonna say yet. I know I saw somewhere when this first was announced, somewhere on Instagram, maybe it was Tarte, I can't say. I got the impression that they will be releasing a Juicy palette. It just has not happened yet. So here's the little Juicy. Like this one feels pretty smooth. Let's see here. And they're pretty, I mean, this is my most, this is my kind of color story. I like those rosy, mauvey, pinky. Oh, that one's dry. This one's not bad. Maybe I'm blaming it all on that one really dry one. Maybe my memory's like, disliked that one shade so much that it's impacting my impressions of the whole palette. This is the really dry one right here that I had some difficulty with when I was using this. I put this on to go to the DOT to get my driver's license. Did it matter? No. This one's actually not bad. Neither is that. Okay. I think I may have been a bit unfair to this palette. Although I still don't think these swatch as well. I don't know. To me, this is the weakest of the 3. If I was gonna rank them, I'd go Lil Toasted, Lil Bloom, and then Lil Juicy. This is not a bad palette. It's just not quite as good. 3 palettes, $49. If you already have these colors, I don't think there's any great, like, oh, you gotta have these reason to purchase these for yourself. If these are colors you don't have and they interest you, this is a really nice way to try it, but 27 different shades that would be cool. I think it would definitely be a really nice gift to give someone, particularly someone new to makeup, like they might think this is really thrilling. Or if you have several makeup lovers in your life, you know, it would be really nice to think about, you know, what colors they like or that kind of thing, and divide up the 3 palettes, you know, for a present for each one. So I do like that idea. So in general, I would say, you know, if you have a fair bit of makeup and you're thinking of this for yourself, I don't think any of this is revolutionary. As a gift-giving idea, I think it's kind of nice. So let's move on to the blushes. So this is the Blush Authority Amazonian Clay Cheek Wardrobe. This is how it's packaged. They did one of these last year, and I have that to do a comparison, just so you have an idea. This is $35, and you get 9 blushes. Each blush is 2.2 grams. I'll just do one here. Out of the packaging, they each look the same, except the top is a different shade. So it looks like this. You lift it up, there's a little mirror in each one. This is very similar to last year, although it's a similar format to last year, but it's a different shape. So this particular one with the gold top has kind of a highlighter and a blush, and we'll say a bronzer, although this bronzer, if you want to call it that, has shimmer in it. There, that color looks a little more close to me. So as you can see, it's like a cute little, it swings in, swings out. Here's last year. Last year was the first time they ever did it. I think it was called 9 Ways to Shine. And then this is this year. So round last year, rectangular this year. Even though this is plastic, this looked, I think, a little more elegant. And it had the same format in terms of how it rolled out and stuff. This one bugged me last year because it was really unwieldy. Like, felt like it was never really staying in place. That is not the case this year. And by the way, I wanted to point out that the size of the blush or the highlighter in this year's set is identical to last year. Even though this packaging is smaller this year, the amount of blush is the same. So these, to me, are easier to use. Like, they don't wiggle around or whatever. Totally a minor thing, but you know, it bugged me last year. So let's just look at each of these and do the swatches. So here is the one with the gold top, which has basically a highlighter, a blush, and a bronzer. All of this always depending on your skin tone, of course. There's the highlighter and the blush and the bronzer. Not my best swatches, but you get the idea. This one has the silver top. Whoops. And they're all the same format. Although, you know, most of them they're not like blush, highlighter, bronzer. They're not, you know, they're kind of like some blushes, maybe a highlighter. The top one in each has some shimmer. So this is the one with the silver top. And then the third one has kind of a, I'm gonna call it a pinkish top. And you can see that one, as I said, they all have shimmer in the top one, but this one, again, depending on your skin tone, this one would be a blush on me. These are the Amazonian Clay formula according to their information. By the way, I intended to mention that this set and last year's set are both made in Taiwan. As I had mentioned earlier, the Tartelette palettes, both the original and the little ones, are made in the USA. This set is made in Taiwan, and last year's blush set was also made in Taiwan. I don't know if that makes any difference. I'm just letting you know that. So last year I said at the end of my review, if I had it to do over again, would I buy that set of blushes? And I said, no, I wouldn't, because I just don't think I'm gonna reach for it that much. And there wasn't a ton of color variety. I'm gonna say the same thing this year. The quality is fine. I've used these, they're fine, there's nothing wrong with them, but there's just very little color variance to me. They're all kind of in the same tonal area. I think last year even had a little bit more depth in one of the 3 containers. And this year they just all seem very similar in terms of tone. You know, there's one highlighter. I tried this highlighter. It actually kind of made a shadow on me. I think it's because it's that mauve-y color. Again, I have kind of a gray undertone, so I'm kind of a weirdo, but so it's kind of like, do you have a lot of blush? Are these unusual colors for you? Is this a formula you've wanted to try? That's, you know, great if you want to do that. Or again, if you want to give this as a gift, I think that would be really cool for me. And the blush that I already have and what I think this offers. Again, nothing revolutionary. I'm just not bowled over by this blush set. I wasn't last year, I'm not this year. I don't dislike it, I'm just kind of like, eh. But something that has bowled me over, might be a little strong, but something I am genuinely enjoying is this Maracuja Juicy Lip Trio. They are basically like, we'll say a tinted balm or tinted gloss in a stick. And truthfully, I didn't think much of this. In fact, I didn't pick this up. I picked up the blushes and the palettes on the same order, and this I just was like, I'm really not interested in that. But then I saw a couple of reviews, and I thought, well, maybe I should review those to give you my thoughts on. First of all, I wanted to see my thoughts on them, but then I wanted to give them to you. So the set comes like this. There are 3 of them. This is $29. If you buy one of these individually, and by the way, the only place I find the individuals in this line are on tartecosmetics.com, and none of these colors are available as individuals. These are only in a set, and I presume only for holiday. Again, I found this at Ulta, but you can also get it at Sephora or tartecosmetics.com. What I was saying is that if you bought one individually, it would be $19. You get 3 in here for $29. So they say it's a $57 value, which would equal, 19 times 3 is 57. So I thought it was worth trying, and I am very glad I did. These surprised me. I didn't expect much. And do I think they're like going to change the world? No. But I really like them. Today I'm wearing Martini, and they just feel good. They feel really good. They have, to me, they feel much more like a good balm with some body to it, which I always really like. In fact, I noticed on the website there's a clear one, and at night I like to put a good, like, rich balm on my lips when I go to bed, and I thought I might actually purchase that clear one to use at night, because I don't like to dip my finger in and all that jazz. But here's what they look like. I'll show you Martini since that's what I have on. It looks like this, and then you click it. See this? Probably here. Click. You click it up, and I would only click it once, and then it just barely takes it above the plastic container. And it's like it feels so good. Man, that stuff is rich. It feels really good, and then essentially you're using like that, and it takes it all the way back down to the plastic layer. I wouldn't click it up more than once, at least until you get used to it. The first time I clicked it up twice, I think, and I ended up with a big glob on my lip. So the way they designed it for this particular kind of product really works nicely. I will show you swatches here. So this is Martini, which of course you just saw me put on my lips. None of these have a ton of color, but I do like this shade a lot. I really enjoy this shade. This is Buttered Rum, which is more of a brown. In fact, I haven't even used this one, so you'll see how many times I have to click it to get it started here. There we go. So I have not worn this one. Obviously more brown leaning. And then, what is this one? Holiday Spritz is the palest of them. Click it up once. Oops. So Holiday Spritz on me shows up just the slightest tint. But I noticed on the Tarte site, oh, maybe there's 8 or 9 colors, including clear. I really, really like these. And if you're curious about them, I think the set is really great. I think the color range is nice, nothing too crazy, but it gives you some color on this one. This one's just kind of, about as nude as it gets, and this one has a little more brown. But for me in the winter, I pretty much live in balm when I can. I'm still in a situation where I'm working from home, so I'm wearing a lot of lip balm and that kind of thing. I'm not wearing a mask as much as so many other people are, which puts me in a different place with my makeup. when I am going out, if I put anything on, it'll be longer lasting. But when I'm at home, you know, I'm really trying to wear rich and good glosses, especially as it gets colder where I live, and you know, the heat's starting to crank and it's starting to dry out even more. And I think these are going to be a major go-to for me. So this was a complete surprise to me how much I genuinely like these. I really, really like these. I really recommend these. I think all three colors are great. So that's one that I'd say, you know, you again could go either way. If this is something you want to add to your own world, that's fantastic. If you want to divvy these up and give them as gifts, that would also be fun. Keep one for yourself, give a couple away, you know, whatever you like. I think the price is reasonable on that for what you would pay for one of them. It's a good entree into trying those. I think they're really, really great. And then this one I've heard nothing about. I just happened to see it on the Ulta site and I ordered it. This is the Warm Winter Wishes eye set. This is $30. I ordered mine from Ulta. And the only other place I've seen this is tartecosmetics.com. I did not see this at Sephora. So as you can see from the packaging, there is a palette which has eyeshadows and a blush. There's a Tarteist liner, and then there's a Lights Camera Lashes mascara. This palette is made in Taiwan. The liner is made in China. The mascara is made in Italy, interestingly. So it comes packaged just kind of in, you know, tissue paper like this. And then here are the pieces. So this is the outside of the palette. And then I did laugh when I saw this eyeliner. It's really little. It's really tiny. It's a Tarteist black eyeliner. So I'll show you how much is actually in there, because I rolled it all the way up. There you go. It's a mini. No denying that. Although I do like it. But I feel like they could have put a full size in there, or maybe something just a little bigger. And then a mini of the Lights Camera Lashes, which has been around for years. Some people love this mascara, some people don't. I actually like the way it looks. I just have it flakes on me a little bit, so I'm not going to go too in depth with those pieces because the palette is probably what you're more interested in. As I said, this is the outside, which I think is really cute. Kind of looks like maybe little leaves or little evergreens. And then when you open it up, it does have a mirror, nice mirror. And here are all the shades, and I'll swatch all of this for you. Interestingly, there's nothing on this packaging and nothing in the advertising that I saw that says this is the Amazonian clay formula. It does say, I think it's the liner has Amazonian clay in it. I didn't see, there's no listing on any of the packaging that says Amazonian clay, and I didn't see it when I kind of looked on the website. So is this a different formula? One would think. If it was their Amazonian clay formula, you know, they kind of hang their hat on that. You'd think that they would be touting that. So I don't know. Again, this is made in Taiwan. The other eyeshadow palettes are made in the USA. So I'm guessing this is a different formula. I actually think, for me, this formula feels a little softer than some of those Lil palettes. By the way, this is what I have on today, is this palette. Oops. Yeah, those are nice feeling mattes. Shimmers, again, Tarte shimmers typically to me are nothing to write home about, depending on what you're looking for. You know, see these, I don't think these swatch as well as the other palettes, even though they feel better. So there you go. Like, what does it really mean? What an eyeshadow feels like. This one is the most, it's not glittery, but it's the most of that type. And this one's rather dry. Again, those darker shades just tend to be drier. And you know, those light shades, I'm sure you're noticing, are not showing up on me. And you can see that does not have, see how dark that is in the pan? That does not have the same impact as when I swatched the earlier Tartelette palettes. Oh, I need to swatch the blush, don't I? Again, it doesn't say this is the Amazonian formula, although I really like the blush. I didn't do much to get this blush on. It was very easy to apply. It's a very, it seemed like a Tarte blush to me. I wore this set all day. I don't recall what day it was, but everything stayed on nicely. So this is, you can tell, this is a pretty light leaning set. Even the deepest shade is not that deep. I guess technically this is deepest, although this has a bit of shimmer, and this is a bit more red. So those are the colors. $30. I like this palette. As I said, I mean, I got this look. This shade in particular, I don't know how well it's swatched, but I really like this one on the eye. It kind of, for me, I'm gonna just swatch it here, even though I swatched it already. It shows up on me in a way like a Charlotte Tilbury pop shade does. And I like it, and it doesn't migrate, like the glitter doesn't migrate on me. Even though it kind of looks like there's micro glitters in there, on me it's just a really, the prettiest shimmer really in this palette by far. And I really like that shade. And I like the blush quite a bit. Again, are these mind-blowing or super different or revolutionary colors? They're not. Do I think this is a fantastic formula? No. I think it's a decent formula. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great. So again, actually, I think this formula is not as good as the first 3 Tartelette palettes that I did. But for me, I prefer this. I like the all-in-one. I like mini sets. I really like the blush. I really like the colors. I like the colors. I like the way they apply, even though, you know, it's nothing super cool. $30, I don't know. I think it's a little overpriced. This would be one of those things that is if you wanted to buy it, what I would recommend is wait until there's a 20% off sale at Ulta, because then it would be, what, $24? That to me is more in line if you really like these colors, or you happen to just really like this, you know, all-in-one set, kind of like I do. I really like this set, and I do like the Tarte liner, and as I said, I'm retrying the mascara. I like to, if I get a mini of something that I've tried before, I like to try it again, you know, because formulas change, tastes change, all that stuff. So I'll use everything in that set, and I like it. I don't know. That one's tough for me. Like a gift-giving thing, it's pretty neutral, so, but it's also pretty light. So depending on the depth of skin tone of someone you might be giving it to, might not do a whole lot for them. I don't know. I'm obviously on the fair to light border, so I can kind of get away with colors like that, but you know, that's going to depend. So that one I'm really kind of, it's hard for me to recommend, yet I don't want to not recommend it. That's not helpful to you. That's not why you're here. I think $30 is too much, unless you really want that one, you know, all-in-one set, or you know someone specifically who would like it. That's my thought. So if I'm gonna rank what I reviewed today, so for me, the blushes would be last. Then the Warm Winter Wishes would be next. I'd put the Tarte Give, whatever it is. I'd put that kind of in the runner-up position, and then for me, the big winner, not a surprise based on this review, is the mMaracuja lips. Absolutely love these. I think any of this would make an okay gift. It depends on who you're giving it to. If you're adding it to your collection and you have a fair number of colors or a fair number of palettes, I don't think any of this, the eyeshadows or the blushes, are gonna make a huge difference. I love that you're here. Thank you for your patience. I absolutely love this stuff. You know that. I love to talk about it, and it's always so thrilling that you hang out with me and you leave me comments. I get the nicest, most thoughtful comments, and I just love them. I hope you're at peace today, and I will talk to you soon.